welcome Toastmaster Daphne Hart.
Did you know that the Forbes magazine, the Forbes report says that self-improvement is a $10 billion industry in the United States alone? No wonder there's so many Toastmasters in the room. Madam President, Toastmasters, and honored guests, how many of you have self-improvement books on your shelf? How many of you have the adjoining CD to go with it? I bet you several of you have already gone to several seminars this year. How many of you have attended at least 5 last year? When I was preparing for this speech, I got a lot of wonderful feedback from my fellow Toastmasters. Some of them said, make it big as life. Some of them said, bring it down to tears. Some of them said, make them laugh all night long. But my rationale is that I desire to bring value to the people that I speak to in the room. I quote from Susan Harrell, this nugget that I'm sharing with you is free of charge. Deep on the inside of you, you already know how to be you, just as an acorn knows how to be a mighty oak. The mighty oak in my life was my mother. When I was 13 years old, my mother suffered a massive heart attack. But I can still hear my mother's voice. She taught me to love others, don't judge too quickly, and to keep hope alive. My mother was a woman of valor, a woman of strength, just like the oak tree. Did you know the oak tree is a very expensive and valuable wood? It's a wood that we use to make hardwood floors and furniture. The reason why the oak tree is so valuable is because of the time that it takes to grow from a small acorn to a mighty oak. The requirement of the overseer of the oak tree, they have to invest an amount of time to wait for that tree to come to its full maturity. The oak is a hard wood. Its resistance against insects, it's very strong. It takes about 20 years before an acorn appears on a mature oak tree. And inside an acorn, it provides a variety of food. Inside this acorn is the potential to become a mighty forest. I started a girls' group called Daughters of Valor, meaning strength. Because in my ear, I could hear my mother's voice when the huge cloud of darkness, of doubt, self-doubt would invade my thoughts. I would hear my mother's voice. When abandonment, rejection, and low self-esteem would creep in, I would hear my mother's voice. And she would say, love others, don't cast judgment too quickly, and keep hope alive. In my mentor program, Daughters of Valor, That's the same thing that I do for these young ladies. They come from at-risk, disadvantaged households. They're teenage girls. When I started the program, it was intended to have girls that were teenagers. But on the day that it opened, I had 2 girls show up. My daughter, who was 13, and a rambunctious, red-headed 10-year-old. Didn't the mother read my flyer? It said 13. What was I gonna do with a rambunctious 10-year-old that's always asking questions, always challenging? Her name is Juliana. Juliana is now 18 years old, about to graduate from high school. Not only will she graduate from high school, but she's a dual enrollment student that will also attain her AA degree and enter into the University of Florida as an undergrad student. Juliana was one of 8 children in her household. She was the youngest. She impacted not only her household, but the community. The community in which I'm speaking of is Pinehills. If you were to do research on it, it would say Crime Hills. My dream, like Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that one day we will change that name of that community from Pine Hills to Oak Hills, a city of strength, of value, and of long life. Toastmasters, deep on the inside of you, you already know how to be you. But what's important is that you step outside of who you are and that you plant seeds into the lives of others. So I challenge you to plant that seed and watch it grow. Thank you.